Hey guys, so I just got back from brunch with my friend and it was really nice. Never really heard anything from my mom about brunch, so I'm guessing I'm not doing that. Um, just sitting here, I was thinking about, what video I should make. Been thinking about all the things I've been through, how 27 years has just been crazy. So I wanted to make a video, kind of go over some of the highlights of my life, like bad or good, within the last 27 years. Can't believe it. So I was thinking, I don't remember much when I was very young, but the stuff I do remember are traumatic and fantastic at the same time, different memories, of course. I remember being with my grandparents when I was younger. My mom's parents were my parents to me. They were amazing people. I had a 100% Swedish grandfather and a 50-50 grandmother who was English and Irish. And she was one of the nicest women you'd ever meet. So most of my childhood from, I'd say, 1 to 10 was pretty good. Actually, 9 was pretty good. My grandma actually passed away right after I turned 10, which was very hard for me. To me, it was kind of like losing my mother because, me and my mother just never saw eye to eye. And they enjoyed having me in their company. So it was, a very nice change of life when I used to be at their home. And then after my grandmother died, things got hard, at my house. And then my grandpa died when I was 12, which was very traumatic as well. And I hit depression pretty bad, after that. I didn't feel like I had anybody left. I still had my sister, but she was who she is now. Like, she was herself. She was doing her own thing. She was a little more popular than I was, growing up. So she had more friends. She was a tomboy, went out, played sports, stayed out of the house as much as she could, met people. And then after all of that, my mom and me didn't get along much. So I spent a lot of time secluding myself. I had some pretty good friends. I was friends with a family where this daughter who I was friends with was 4 years older than me, and then she had 2 brothers, and I hung out with them and their friends, and I was the annoying little kid that joined who had crushes on guys who were 4 or 5 years older than me. Had my first boyfriend at 10. Yeah, crazy shit. Met through them. He was 14 when I was 10, and we only held hands, like nothing else happened, but it was a toxic way to start relationships, to say the least. And then I had so many crazy adventures with that family. Like, we snuck out of their house when we were kids, set off bottle rockets in the middle of the night, put bowling balls in our drunk friends' backpacks. They got drunk walking down the street in the middle of the day, having their mom having to come pick us up, puke everywhere. Like, we had people stopping us because their friends sat in, like, the car they had for sale, and they wanted to know where we lived, and I was 12 years old trying to be tough, and I always thought I was so sick of everything and I could take on the world. But, like, it was something you didn't see when I was home. But when I was with these people, like, I felt so cool. I learned how to fight from watching all these boys fight. I learned how to play football really well. And, it was just a different illusion of what life could be. Like, the bad side of it, but it was, like, the cool bad side, as weird as that sounds. And as a child, because that's what I was, it was, like, living a whole different life I wasn't allowed to live when I was home. And, it also got me away from the physical and the mental strain and abuse I went through as a kid. I just always wanted to be somewhere else, just have a different life, because I was nothing, or I was worse than nothing when I was home. That's how it felt. It was just terrible, and then as I got older, I kept making friends with people that honestly probably weren't the best of people to make friends with, but it was fun. I started drinking when I was 12, which wasn't good. I became an alcoholic at a young age. I had my doctor knew about it, tried to counsel me through it without telling my mom, because of what she already knew was going on at my home. But, you know, it was a different time era when we were younger. It really was. You know, you couldn't just... People didn't help the way they do now, and even now things aren't that great. You know, we try to make it seem like they're doing more, but really they still do just as much damage as they did when we were kids. But at least we're trying, you know, I'll give it that. But, you know, I always wanted to disappear. So when I started drinking, that's exactly what it felt like. You know, I was drunk all the time from 12 to 15, just drank all the time, every day, on the weekends, you know. But that's how much I was ignored. No one noticed. I started smoking cigarettes at 12 too, sneaking outside in the woods, smoking, you know, putting the Axe cologne on after I was done, brushing my teeth, chewing gum, trying to cover up that smell. And like, I hid that shit until I was 18, you know, until I was in the hospital. And, you know, they asked if I smoked, and I just said yes, and forgot my mom was standing right there. Like, that was a fun thing to talk about later. And then I lost a lot of weight after middle school. You know, I went through a lot of bullying in middle school. I didn't like school. No one liked me. I was the fat kid. I was weird. I didn't know what I was. You know, I changed from being emo to trying to wear baggy ghetto clothes to all pink, and felt like I had to be a certain way, otherwise people wouldn't like me. And eventually the depression took over, and I mean, I guess emo is really what came out. I had that greasy black hair and didn't dress well and didn't stand up for myself, but was also really angry all the time and stayed away from people. Got bullied in school. People used to point at me and laugh. It was terrible. I got called an ogre. You know, I was disgusting. And, you know, it sucks because you didn't expect anyone to ever like you after that. You just feel so low, and then you go home and you're dealing with being told you're a piece of poop, and, you know, you stay in your room all the time because no one wants to see you. You're annoying. You know, you're treated the same way at home. But, you know, people at school don't know that. And that's the thing. You got to be really careful. You don't know what people are going through. And then, let's see, high school. I ended up having a best friend all through high school. And she was crazy, just like me. And we became friends by me asking if she was going to drink her milk and then just taking it and drinking it. Because apparently I didn't care when I reached high school. I had lost 30 pounds. I was taller. You know, people started paying attention to me. You know, men liked my personality. I didn't know how to take that. So I started, you know, dating guys for 2 weeks at a time. And it seemed like a lot. Like, oh, you know, I'm such a, you know, not like a ladies' man, but like, you know, I can get men now. And, you know, I ended up going through them like friggin' spitting out sunflower seeds. And, you know, going to these school dances, and, oh, I loved the school dances. They were so much fun. But, you know, then I turned 16. 16 was such a hard year. I ended up getting raped when I was 16. I ended up having a forceful miscarriage when I was 16. I ended up getting in my first abusive relationship when I was 16, you know, and a lot of people could tell. People in my shop could see it. It was written all over my face, like, that I was going through, you know, an abusive relationship. But because of how I grew up, I didn't think it was wrong. Like, I knew it was wrong, but I didn't think I deserved any better. And that's the thing, you always can remember you deserve better. And, after high school, I mean, I graduated, and, you know, I did okay. I made it. Started going through some mental trauma by the end of high school because of everything that had kind of gone on. My emotions disconnected, and it was kind of tough. But, you know, I made it. And through all that, I ended up dating really abusive men. I went through very, very abusive relationships where I almost died. Tried to kill myself. Went into drugs and alcohol really bad. You know, like, I've been sober for about 3 years. You know, I don't do drugs anymore. I barely ever drink. Only thing I ever do is smoke weed every once in a while, and that's if I'm in a state that it's legal and, you know, it's okay to do so. But I got myself away from all of it. I got out of it. I left the state I'm in now because of how my life had gone and needing to change that. I ended up going to Michigan, and wow, I've been through a lot just from being homeless after all that, losing the trailer we were in, traveling everywhere. We've been to 42 different states. We've experienced dealing with radiators blowing, hitting deer, excruciating heat without AC, the van breaking down in the middle of winter in New Mexico, feeling like you're freezing to death, going through a whole winter in New Mexico, experiencing Christmas and everything in a broken down van in your boss's backyard because we got jobs and we have a little electric heater trying to keep us warm as, we're trying not to freeze to death, washing your hair outside and it's freezing. It made me cry. It was terrible. And then working hard and still not being able to get a place. There's literally nothing around you for rent, and you're in a small town of 180 people. So you get a car, you rent that. It's this little sports car. Went to Alabama. That car broke down, had no alternator belt. No one knows how we made it from New Mexico to Alabama without an alternator belt. It doesn't make any sense. And that's when we dealt with the people in the Alabama video that's located below that explains that story. Summarized. Dealt with more. I gotta make more of the Alabama videos. We've been through a lot there. And losing that vehicle twice, having a breakdown twice. The second time meeting the people that gave us such a wonderful gift, granting us the vehicle we have now, helping us get it registered, telling us to get out. We were in such a bad place. We needed to leave that place. Going to Washington, almost flipping the car in Kansas. Oh, there's so much. There's so much we've been through. And now I'm 27. I'm still living in my car, but I've grown so much in the sense of wisdom and seeing the world and experiencing things and feeling emotions that, people try to hide. But, there's so much that goes on in this world. There's so much that goes on in us. And life is just some crazy adventure. And you know what? We gotta learn from it, make other people happy, make ourselves happy, spread love, get rid of the evil that's going on, because man, there's so much evil going on. But I feel like I rambled enough. If anyone actually made it through the video, you know a lot about me. I just recap of 27 years. I did the best I could and tried to make it as short as I could. So I'm gonna end it now. I hope all of you have a wonderful day.